welcome back. Ready to dive deep into Tim Ferriss's Tools of
We're
Titans.
cracking open his playbook, looking at routines, habits, those little things that make high achievers tick.
Exactly. Think billionaires, top athletes, those people who are just killing it in their fields.
It's about figuring out what makes them tick, right?
Yeah,
And seeing what we can learn from them.
totally. And one thing that jumped out at me was how many of these folks have these intense morning routines?
Oh, yeah. It's not just coffee and email. It's like strategic rituals to set themselves up for success.
So not hitting snooze 5 times, then rushing out the door?
Not exactly. Take Tony Robbins, for example. His morning routine involves, get this, plunging into ice-cold water.
Whoa, hold on. Ice baths. That's a bit intense for me first thing in the morning.
It is, right. And then he follows that up with chanting incantations.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What's the logic behind all that?
So Robbins calls this priming, and he believes it basically sets the tone for his whole day. That cold plunge, it jolts his system awake, and the incantations, they're all about reinforcing his goals, getting him in a positive mindset.
Interesting. So it's like taking control of your state of mind before the day even really begins.
Exactly. Instead of letting the day control you, you're saying, I'm in charge here. It's powerful stuff.
I can see that. But let's be real. Most of us aren't jumping into ice baths every morning. What's a more, well, approachable way to tap into that priming idea?
I hear you. It doesn't have to be extreme. Even just 10 minutes of meditation, a quick workout, even just enjoying a cup of coffee in silence before the craziness starts.
I like that. So it's about finding what works for you to create that sense of intention and focus.
Exactly. It's about starting the day with a clear head, ready to tackle whatever comes your way.
Makes sense. All right, so we've got our morning routine sorted. But what about those big, scary fears that can hold us back? Ferriss talks a lot about fear setting, something that helped him overcome some major obstacles in his own life.
He even used it to conquer his fear of learning new languages.
Okay, I'm all ears. How does this fear setting thing actually work?
It's pretty straightforward.
Mm,
First, you got to define your fear, like what exactly are you afraid of? Then you think about the absolute worst case scenarios. Like what's the worst that could happen if your fear came true?
that sounds kind of terrifying.
I know, right? But stay with me. Let's say with Ferriss and languages, he was afraid of sounding silly, making mistakes, maybe never becoming fluent.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
So the next step is to think about, okay, how can I prevent those worst case scenarios? Or if they do happen, how can I fix it?
So it's about having a plan, not just freaking out.
Exactly. So Ferriss might, research language learning apps, find a language partner to practice with, commit to practicing even when it's awkward.
So you're not ignoring the fear, but you're facing it head on, coming up with a strategy.
And the thing is, often when you really look at your fears, they shrink. Those worst case scenarios, they're rarely as bad as you imagine them.
So it's like shining a light on the monster in the closet and realizing it's just a stuffed animal.
Exactly. And you're way more capable of handling things than you think you are.
That's a good pep talk. Now let's shift gears and talk about productivity. Tools of Titans is packed with strategies for getting things done. One that stood out to me was the 20-mile march concept from Jim Collins.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. It's all about steady progress, rain or shine, good day or bad day.
It's like imagine marching 20 miles a day, no matter what. It's not about sprinting ahead on good days or giving up when it's tough.
Right. It's about consistent, sustainable effort over time. Like the biotech company Amgen, they use this strategy to blow their competition out of the water.
Wow, really? Tell me more about that.
Amgen, yeah, they were all about steady progress even when times were tough. They kept investing in research and development, and it led to some huge breakthroughs.
They were in it for the long haul, not just chasing quick wins.
Exactly. And it paid off big time for them in the end.
So how can our listeners figure out their own 20-mile march? What does that look like in everyday life?
It's about figuring out the key actions that move you towards your goals, then committing to those actions consistently, day after day.
So it could be writing a certain number of words a day, making sales calls, learning a new skill, whatever moves the needle for you.
Exactly. It's finding a pace that's challenging but doable and sticking to it no matter what.
Consistency is key. And on that note, Ferriss also talks about the Pomodoro technique, which I'm a huge fan of. 25 minutes of focused work, then a 5-minute break. Rinse and repeat.
Oh, it's a lifesaver. Those little breaks, they really help you stay focused and avoid burnout.
It's like giving your brain a mini vacation every half hour.
It's so true. Our brains aren't designed to just go, go, go without a break.
Yeah,
We need those pauses to recharge.
totally agree. Okay, so we've talked about setting the stage with a good morning routine, tackling fears, finding a rhythm for productivity. But what about all those commitments that can bog us down? Ferriss shares some great advice from Derek Sivers about saying no.
Oh, the hell yes or no rule.
It's so simple, but so powerful. If something doesn't make you say, hell yes, then it's a no.
It's about being really intentional with your time and energy, saying yes to the things that light you up and no to everything else.
It's hard though, right? Saying no can feel really uncomfortable sometimes.
It can, especially if you're a people pleaser. But think about it. When you say yes to too many things, you end up feeling stressed, resentful, and ultimately less productive.
I've definitely been there. Saying no is like a muscle you have to build.
It is, and it's so worth it. When you learn to say no to the things that drain you, you free up space for the things that truly energize you.
And that's where the magic happens, right? Okay, let's switch gears again. Tools of Titans also delves into this interesting concept called negative visualization, which sounds a little counterintuitive, to say the least.
Yeah, it's not what you'd think, right? It's not about being pessimistic or expecting bad things to happen.
So, what is it about then?
It's actually a tool for cultivating gratitude and resilience. It's about periodically imagining the loss of things you value, like your health, loved ones, even your material possessions.
Okay, but why would you want to do that? It sounds kind of depressing.
I know, but bear with me. It's a mental exercise that shifts your perspective. By contemplating potential loss, you become more aware of how precious those things are right now.
I see. So it's like a reminder to appreciate what you have before it's gone.
Exactly. And it also helps you prepare for potential setbacks. It's not about wishing for bad things to happen, but acknowledging that life throws curveballs and we're stronger than we think.
So it's like a mental fire drill for life's challenges.
Exactly. It's about building up resilience so when those tough times do come, you're better equipped to handle them.
That's a powerful way to look at it. So negative visualization isn't about being negative at all. It's about using your mind to cultivate a more positive and resilient mindset.
It's a bit of a mind trick, but it can be really effective.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground. Morning routines, fear setting, productivity hacks, and now negative visualization. It's amazing how much wisdom Tim Ferriss packed into this one book.
I know. And we're just scratching the surface here.
Before we dive into even more insights from Tools of Titans, let's take a quick pause to reflect on what we've learned so far.
That sounds good to me.
So we've covered a lot of ground, from morning routines to facing fears to productivity hacks. What are some of the big takeaways from Tools of Titans that have really stuck with you?
One thing that stands out is how the book emphasizes that there's no one right way to do things.
Oh.
Ferriss presents a whole bunch of different perspectives, approaches. It's a reminder that what works for one person might not work for another.
It's like he's giving you a giant toolbox, and you get to pick and choose the tools that fit your needs, your style.
Exactly. Another key takeaway, I think, is the importance of experimentation, and self-awareness. A lot of the high achievers Ferriss interviews, they talk about constantly testing things out, iterating, adapting their routines based on what works.
It's all about figuring out what works best for you. There's no magic formula.
It's like being your own bad scientist, trying things out, tweaking things until you find that perfect formula.
I love that analogy. It's about taking ownership of your journey, not being afraid to try new things, even if they seem a little out there.
Exactly. Now, can we go back to negative visualization for a minute?
Yeah.
Still trying to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more unconventional ideas we've talked about. I mean, why would you intentionally think about losing things you care about? Could that make you more anxious?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
But remember, negative visualization is not about dwelling on negative emotions or expecting bad things to happen. It's more about, it's rooted in Stoic philosophy.
So it's about accepting that life is unpredictable, that loss is a part of the human experience.
Right. And instead of fearing that loss, you're using it as a tool to deepen your appreciation for what you have right now.
So it's about shifting your perspective from scarcity to gratitude.
Exactly. It's like by mentally preparing for potential setbacks, you're less likely to be completely thrown off when they actually happen.
It's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, it's about building up that inner strength
Yeah.
so you can face challenges with more resilience.
Wow, I'm starting to see how powerful this could be. So it's not about being negative, it's about using your mind to cultivate a more positive, resilient mindset.
It's a mental tool that, when used wisely, can really help you navigate life's ups and downs.
I like that. Okay, so we've explored morning routines, fear setting, productivity hacks, and even dipped our toes into Stoic philosophy with negative visualization. Quite a journey.
It has been. And we've only just scratched the surface of what Tools of Titans has to
Oh
offer.
no, it's incredible how much Ferriss packed into this book. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious if you had to pick one tactic or routine that's really resonated with you, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are so many good ones.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose, I think I'd go with Derek Sivers' Hell Yes rule.
Yeah.
It's just so simple, yet so profound. It can really change how you make decisions, how you spend your time.
I love that choice. It's about being intentional with your commitments, making sure they truly light you up. So, for our listeners out there, what's one small step you can take today to incorporate this idea or any other insight from Tools of Titans into your life?
That's the key, right? It's not just about listening, it's about taking action.
Totally. And remember, even small steps can lead to big results over time. Like with the 20-mile march, it's about consistency, making progress little by little.
Those small actions, they add up over time. Don't underestimate their power.
So true. And now, for our listeners who want to dive deeper into Tools of Titans, where should they go from here? It's a big book. It can be a little daunting.
Yeah. I'd say revisit the sections that really resonated with you from our discussion today. Go back, dive deeper into those ideas, see how you can apply them to your own life. And remember, the book is broken down into short chapters, so you can easily pick and choose the topics you're most interested in.
Great advice. Tools of Titans is truly a treasure trove of wisdom. I'm sure our listeners will find even more gems as they explore it further.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe we'll revisit Tools of Titans in a future deep dive, uncover even more insights together.
That would be fantastic.
Huh.
But for now, we've reached the summit of our deep dive into Tools of Titans. It's been an incredible journey, learning from these amazing individuals.
It's been a pleasure to share this exploration with you and our listeners.
And to you, our amazing listeners, we hope you've gained some valuable insights from this deep dive.
Remember, the real journey begins when you take these ideas and start applying them to your own life. So go out there, experiment, challenge yourself, and most importantly, have fun.
That's what it's all about. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
We'll be here cheering you on every step of the way.
You know, it's amazing how these small changes to routines or mindsets can make such a big difference in the long run.
It's like those little adjustments they make to a spacecraft's trajectory, tiny tweaks that end up sending it to a whole new destination.
Exactly. For me, the hell yes rule from Derek Sivers was a game changer. It's so easy to get caught up in trying to please everyone or the fear of missing out. But when you start saying no to things that drain you, you create space for the things that truly excite you. Those hell yes opportunities.
It's all about recognizing that your time and energy are valuable. You got to be choosy about where you invest them if you want to make a real impact and create a life that feels fulfilling.
I'm also really intrigued by the idea of the 20-mile march, that concept of consistent, sustainable effort over time. It's a good reminder that real success isn't always about those bursts of intense effort that fizzle out quickly.
It's like the tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. Especially when it comes to those big, ambitious goals.
I can see how I could apply that to my own work. Like instead of trying to cram everything into these marathon writing sessions, I could focus on hitting a daily word count no matter what. That would probably be way more effective in the long run.
Exactly. The 20-mile march takes the pressure off of having to be brilliant every single day. It's about showing up and doing the work consistently, even when you don't feel like it.
And speaking of playing the long game, negative visualization has really stuck with me. It's definitely one of the more counterintuitive ideas we've talked about.
It's not for everyone, for sure. But there's a reason why this practice has been around for centuries.
Hmm.
The Stoics were onto something.
At first, it seemed kind of strange. Like, why would I want to think about losing the things I care about? Wouldn't that just make me more anxious? But now I'm starting to see it as a way to appreciate what I have and mentally prepare for the inevitable ups and downs of life.
It's all about perspective, right? Acknowledging that loss is a natural part of life can actually help you overcome the fear of it.
It's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Negative visualization helps you build that inner strength so you can face challenges head on.
It's not about dwelling on negativity or expecting bad things to happen. It's about using your mind to develop a more positive and resilient outlook.
So, we've explored morning routines, fear setting, productivity hacks, and even delved into Stoic philosophy with negative visualization. What an incredible journey it's been exploring the minds and habits of these high achievers.
It has been fascinating, hasn't it? There's so much we can learn from people who are at the top of their game.
And to our amazing listeners, we hope you've gained some valuable insights from our deep dive into Tools of Titans. Remember, the real journey begins when you take these ideas and start experimenting with them in your own life.
Don't be afraid to try new things, to step outside your comfort zone, and to keep learning and growing. And remember to have fun along the way.
That's what it's all about. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.
We'll be right here with you, cheering you on every step of the way.
Thank you for joining us at Wisdom House, where we bring you timeless insights from the greatest books. If you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom House. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video.